There's an SR champion in the game that might be one of the most slept on heroes in Etheria Restart. From what I've seen so far, he might be the highest single target damage dealer in the game as an SR champion. And no, we are not talking about Victor. For today's Spotlight Showcase, we are looking at none other than Diting. Let's get into it. So let's take a look at Diting and what he does, okay? He's skill 3, he snipes a target for 450% damage, and when attacking a marked target, he performs 1 extra attack with his rapid fire. Rapid fire being his skill 1, which is 260% damage with a 40% chance to inflict vulnerable. Now it's nice, but it's not something I'm focusing on here. His passive at the start of the turn, if Diting is able to make an action, he marks the enemy with the lowest HP percentage and increases his crit rate against them by 60% for this turn. 150% of excess crit rate is converted into crit damage. He is the only one that converts crit rate into extra crit damage. And so that in himself means, if you're over crit cap, it's not the end of the world. So we're looking at the build here. This is a very juiced up account, and I have tried to push him to the limits that I can here. We have 90% crit rate, or 88% crit rate here, okay? With 350% crit damage. When we hit the target that has the mark on them, we're getting another 60%, so that is 150% crit rate. We're getting, I think it was 150% of the extra over that as well. Yeah, 150% over 100. So if we're at 150, we're going to get 75%, I think I make that. It's going to put us at 425% crit rate. A truly mad number, okay? We've also got when he lands a crit, the damage increases by 12%. When attacking a target under a debuff or control effect, up to 36% extra damage, and we've got the crit damage and crit rate from Fury Edge. Now the team I'm going to use him with Kloss to extend the damage as well, not just through the defense down that she brings, but also her hack in buff, or debuff rather, which increases the damage even more. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty fun one. How realistic this is for most people to reach in the long term, don't know, but it is sure fun to see some sick numbers with him. The shell, we've got the overclocking, we've got the increased crit rate, and we've got the increased damage dealt here. You could, of course, go for the crit damage rather than the crit rate. And on slot 3, Assault is probably the best one here. You could go, I suppose, for the Blade of Disorder, but yeah. We are sticking with Assault today. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at Terrormaton, okay? So, as mentioned, we do have the Kloss here. We've got the Marvel for the knockback. We've got the Heinrich to remove the immunity. Now, I have brought in Dorothy the Wisher here, okay, mainly because she's going to give us the crit rate buff and life leech. And on a skill 2, she's giving turn meter and crit damage, so we can wrap back around there. Now, the only thing that I'm not sure of is whether his skill 2 takes this crit rate buff into consideration, because it's not on his actual stats. That is something that I don't know, but if we're giving him an extra 30% on top of the crit rate buff that he gives himself, we are really going to scale that. I don't have any confirmation on whether that works or not, but that was the thinking behind it. So let's not delay anymore. We've got Heinrich going first here, hopefully going to strip all of these buffs. Nicely done. We're going to have Marvel knock everyone back. He is the unsung hero of the last beta. We're going to press the decreased defense. We are going to buff Diting here. We are not worried. Now, he has targeted this head over here, so this is what we are going to target. We are going to use his E. 1 times speed. 100k, 60k. Followed by the shell, doing 25 a couple of times. We've nearly just one-shot this on the hardest difficulty. It's actually a little bit bonkers. We've got the Codex of Magic coming back in, allowing Marvel to use his skill 3 again. Gloss to push back some turn meter. We're going to give him more damage. We've got the hack-in buff now as well. 90k. 90k on the skill 1. It's actually nutty. Here we go. We'll auto it on 3 times. Here we go. This is without defense down. 120k followed by the shell as well. Yeah, it's actually silly. We're going to let this play through now for the rest of it. There you go. Finishing up then. 173k. It's actually stupid. Next up, we're going to jump into Aurora. Now, we've have had to change the team up a little bit. Kloss is super weak, so we've brought in RC77. We've also had to drop Dorothy because we need the Ling Lo to heal Diting, so he actually does the damage he's supposed to. Otherwise, this Curse Shield's going to stay on us, and he's going to do 90% less damage. But we do have a similar sort of setup, if you will. So we are going to remove the buffs, remove the immunity. Marvel is going to knock them back with a little bit of luck. There we go. RC77, put the defense down. We will heal quickly. Get rid of that Curse Shield. There we are. Target acquired. So it might not do as much as the Terrormaton, but it's still going to be fun to see. $80k plus another 43. And then the shell coming in. And the shell's just going to keep amping that damage, right? It stacks the White Fang. So, yeah, potentially this is going to be a very quick run using like a let's call it standard team. The heal, yeah, we've lost that. Nice. In we go again for another 50k almost on the skill 1. This is without the damage amp that Kloss provides. Yeah, just an incredible hero. And yeah, single target wise, until Hoyan comes back, I don't know if there is anyone else doing more damage than him. I really don't. Here we come with the skill 3 again. Oof, 91.50, job done. That's just over a minute and a half run, and that's with us chatting and pausing in between. A lot of fun. So we're going to do a couple of Grim Pursuit bosses now as well, and for this particular fight, it's very much the same as Terramaton minus the Heinrich, because we don't need the Dispel, okay? So we're just going to auto-click this and see how it goes. Now, once again, we do have a very good supporting cast around him here. So, you know, it might not be the most realistic to begin with, especially in the first day or two, but my lord, is it a lot of fun. Now, the downside here is the crit rate up bonus landed on the side minion, so we didn't actually get that there. We did get it that second time round though. Codex of Magic rolling back in. Been silenced, but that is okay because it is our skill 1 that hits just as hard. Another 90k. And just like that, it's gonna be curtains. Bang. Job done. 1 minute. 1 minute on the schnoz with this little team here of 3 SR characters and Kloss. So moving into Shadowflame Hoyan here. So very similar team once again, only we don't have Dorothy the Wisher this time around. We have brought in everyone's second favourite SR in Kraken. The reason for it is this boss, you really do need the control on the side adds to increase the damage that Hoyan takes. If you don't, they're going to take, I think it's 40% of the damage that she takes. So, yeah, it is important that you get that here. So, we'll let it go play on auto. No heals here, so it could be pretty sketchy. But we'll find out together, I suppose. Get the freeze, so we just need the defense down now. There we go, got that. Here we go. Bosh. Another 120k, and then the shell follow-up. Knockback once again. Just make sure we target the boss. We've got the hack in 2 now. But yeah, this is curtains already. 50k. Bang. Control coming back out on Kraken with the knockback. Got the vulnerability now that time too, so he should finish the job with his A3 in the best possible scenario with defense down and vulnerability. 130 pounds. 1 minute 5. So for one last time, we're going to bring the first team back in, but we are going to put the exact same gear that we have on Victor. So you'll remember that it was actually 88%, but because we've got Dorothy, it's going to be 100% crit rate. So, and everyone else, the gear has not changed. So this is going to be a very nice comparison. So we're just going to run it back exactly the same. Get the knockback. Get the decreased defense. Right, here we go. So we're going to slow it down. We're going to use his skill 3 on this guy here. Smack, smack, smack. So a lot of damage there. I saw a couple of 20Ks, few 10s. So, you know, doing quick math without watching it back in slow-mo, maybe I'll do that in the editing if I can. It's comparable, but I think Diting is doing more there. Like, I'm pretty sure Diting had that arm down the second time round. So the gear is exactly the same. Now, the one thing you could say is that Victor has a bit more survivability with his built-in shields there. So he might be more preferable, but you cannot take away from the damage that Diting does. So there we are, folks. That is the end of today's little spotlight. Now, Diting is a very high damage dealer, but he is single target. So for the likes of Doki Doki, Whitney, Karuru, he's probably not going to be someone that you're going to bring in. Now, Nico Nana, he could still perform well on as long as you can put decreased speed on Nico Nana. He probably will perform at a high level there. But I think the sort of 4 areas we've looked at today are probably the areas you're going to use him most in PvE content. Of course, PvP. I think that he's a little bit underrated. So, you know, if he's your guy that you're going to bring just to take out one person, chances are you might get him through in RTA. Whether you would or not, though, is up to you. Once again, one last look at the gear. One thing you could bring in is Battle Wheel to get the chance for the follow-up attacks as well, skill 1ing over and over. But, you know, how much stock are you going to put in RNG? That is up to you. I think it's more of a fun thing to do than sort of something to get consistent damage out of. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Take care, look after yourselves, work hard, but as always, play harder, and I'll see you in another one soon. Cheers.